You ever promise yourself that tomorrow is the day everything changes? The alarms are set, the workout clothes are ready, and you've just watched a hyper-productive morning routine at 1:30 a.m., thinking, yes, this is the new me. And then tomorrow arrives, and somehow you're scrolling again, snacking again, negotiating with yourself like a tired lawyer arguing against your own goals. It's strange, isn't it? You genuinely want discipline. You're not lazy, and you're not incapable. Yet your brain keeps steering you back toward the same habits, the same shortcuts, the same comfortable distractions. Here's the part most people never realize. Discipline isn't really about willpower. It's about wiring. Your brain isn't resisting change because something is wrong with you. It's protecting patterns it already recognizes as safe. Neuroscience shows that in roughly 30 days, consistent behavioral signals can begin reshaping neural pathways. Not magically, not overnight, but measurably. So the real question isn't whether you can become disciplined. It's which mental pattern you're running right now and how to rewire it. One common pattern is what you might call the motivation sprinter. Maybe you know this version of yourself. Sunday night feels like the start of a movie montage. You write ambitious goals, organize your space, maybe even feel a surge of excitement just imagining your future self. For a few days, everything clicks. You wake up early, focus deeply, eat better, move more. Discipline feels effortless, almost intoxicating. Then something small happens. A bad night of sleep, a stressful day, one skipped habit. Suddenly the entire system collapses. Psychologically, this isn't failure, it's dopamine at work. Motivation creates a powerful but temporary chemical boost in the brain, making effort feel rewarding at first. But motivation is starter fuel, not a long-term engine. When novelty fades, the brain returns to efficiency mode and seeks familiar, lower-effort behaviors. The sprinter depends on emotional intensity instead of repetition, yet brains rewire through consistency, not excitement. If this sounds familiar, the solution isn't pushing harder. It's shrinking the habit until resistance almost disappears. Tiny, repeatable actions reduce cognitive friction, allowing your brain to associate identity with action rather than emotion. Discipline begins quietly, not dramatically. Then there's the overthinker planner. This person doesn't struggle with ideas. They struggle with starting. Their Notes app is full of systems, strategies, and perfectly structured routines. They research productivity methods, compare techniques, and promise themselves they'll begin once the plan feels flawless. It feels responsible, even intelligent, but there's a psychological trap hidden inside. Planning activates many of the same reward circuits as actual progress. Your brain releases dopamine simply from imagining improvement, which creates the illusion of productivity without behavioral change. In other words, thinking starts to feel like doing. Action, on the other hand, carries uncertainty. It risks imperfection, discomfort, even failure. So the brain gently nudges you back toward safe preparation instead. Rewiring this pattern requires shortening the gap between decision and action. Instead of optimizing first, you move first. Open the document. Start the workout badly. Write the messy first paragraph. Neuroscientists sometimes describe this as training an action bias, teaching the brain that movement comes before clarity. Ironically, momentum creates the structure planners were waiting for all along. Another profile is the dopamine drifter, and this one feels painfully modern. You sit down to focus, fully intending to work. Then your phone buzzes. You check quickly, just for a second. One message leads to a video, which leads to another recommendation, which somehow leads to watching someone reorganize their kitchen at midnight. An hour disappears, and you're left wondering where your attention went. This isn't simply weak self-control. Modern digital environments are engineered around variable rewards, the same reinforcement pattern used in gambling machines. Every notification carries the possibility of something interesting, and your brain learns to chase novelty, because novelty delivers faster dopamine than effortful tasks. Over time, attention itself rewires. Your baseline level of stimulation rises, and normal activities begin to feel unbearably dull by comparison. The 3-0-day reset here isn't about eliminating pleasure, but recalibrating reward sensitivity. When you intentionally reduce constant stimulation, fewer notifications, defined scrolling times, protected focus windows, your brain gradually becomes responsive again to slower rewards. Work feels less painful. Reading becomes tolerable. Progress stops feeling impossible. The excitement may not return immediately, but something better does: steadiness. But here's the twist most people don't expect. The most powerful transformation belongs to what we might call the identity builder. Instead of relying on motivation or perfect systems, this person changes the internal story guiding their behavior. Imagine the difference between saying, "I'm trying to work out," and saying, "I'm someone who trains." The behavior might look identical at first, but the psychological effect is completely different. Human brains are wired for self-consistency. Once you adopt an identity, your mind unconsciously seeks evidence to confirm it, because inconsistency creates mental discomfort. Small actions begin reinforcing a self-image, and that self-image begins guiding future choices automatically. Discipline becomes less about forcing behavior and more about protecting who you believe you are. The process unfolds quietly. Tiny, repeated actions create evidence. Evidence shapes identity, and identity makes behavior feel natural. Around the 3-0 day mark, repeated actions start shifting from effortful decision-making areas of the brain into more automatic habit circuits. You stop debating every action. You simply begin. What's fascinating is that none of these transformations require becoming a completely different person overnight. The brain doesn't demand perfection. It responds to direction. Missing a day doesn't erase progress because neural pathways strengthen through repetition over time, not flawless streaks. Each small repetition tells your brain, "This matters. Keep this pathway." Gradually, resistance softens. The internal argument grows quieter. Actions that once required intense effort start feeling familiar, almost routine. That subtle reduction in friction is often the first real sign that rewiring is happening. So if you're thinking about changing your life over the next 30 days, the real question isn't how to stay motivated forever. It's what version of yourself you're giving your brain evidence for today. Maybe the sprinter learns to slow down and repeat smaller wins. Maybe the planner learns to begin before feeling ready. Maybe the drifter learns to protect attention like a limited resource. Or maybe you start acting like the disciplined person you want to become before you fully believe you are one. And somewhere around week 3, something almost invisible happens. You sit down to do the thing you've been avoiding, and the resistance isn't gone, but it's weaker. The negotiation in your head fades faster. The action feels familiar instead of foreign. That's not luck. That's your brain adapting to the signals you've repeated. So which pattern felt closest to you? Which one quietly called you out a little? And if you were to start a 3-0-day experiment today, what small action would you repeat? Not perfectly, just consistently. Sometimes the biggest psychological shift doesn't begin with a massive decision, but with one tiny behavior your brain didn't expect you to keep doing tomorrow. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Hit the like button if this helped you.